Okay, yeah. So now that we have understood the basic SQL and some part of functions, how do we to write? We're okay with writing select statement or insert, update, deletes, or the DDL statements of creating table view, all this. Now I would like to focus on SQL scripting, SQL script. So SQL script is nothing but normal. It's like it is an extension to SQL. So what are the statements you've been writing today? Yeah. What are the SQL statements you've been writing till today? It was just normal SQL statements. And the extension towards that is what we refer to as SQL scripting. Like we'll have procedural extensions, like we'll have if conditions, case statements, conditional statements, looping statements. Yeah. You can't hear me? So still there's any problem in hearing me, boss? Can hear. Okay, just ping me if someone who cannot hear. That's enough. Okay, yeah. So extension to your SQL statements would be is what we refer to as SQL scripting. And this will be the language what we would be using when you want to implement some procedural logic. So we'll be using SQL scripting when you want to implement stored procedures or your functions. Okay. So when you want to push down the logic deep into HANA database, or when you want to implement data intensive logic deep into HANA database, we'll have to implement the logic through SQL scripting, which is nothing but normal extension to your SQL. Like in Oracle, you refer it as PLSQL. In HANA, we would refer that as SQL script. Okay. So now we now we're just trying to learn the SQL scripting now. How do we write scripting in SAP HANA? With some examples. So to make you understand on this, when you're learning ABAP, you will go about, when you want to practice ABAP, you write some executable program or include program or function model or whatever it is. There are different objects what you can implement with ABAP. Same way, by using SQL scripting, you can implement stored procedure or functions here. So I'm mainly focusing on procedures now. What we'll do, we'll start writing procedures in order to practice the SQL scripting, in order to learn your SQL scripting. Okay. The first one, look at this here. Simple one. So I'm just creating a procedure, and then this is a keyword, this is a statement. How do you say? You just say create procedure, and I want this procedure in the schema 9 cubex SQL, and the name of the procedure is hello world, and then we'll have the parenthesis where you specify the parameters. Whether parameters could be input or output. In case of stored procedure, we can have input as well as output parameters also. Then we say as, and within the begin and end, you start implementing the logic what you want. As per of this first example, I'm doing nothing. I'm just printing this string saying hello world. I just want to print this string. So I'm saying select this string in single quotes. Since I'm not reading from any of the table, I just say dummy. I just use a table as dummy. So that's my procedure, nothing else. I'm just saying select this, and I'm just saying execute. Now the procedure. So when when I create the procedure in catalog, you'll only see the runtime object, right? So when you expand the catalog folder, the schema, you should see a folder called procedures. and you should see the procedure which has been added here. I can just close this out. You can double click on this procedure. You can see the code what has been written. Okay. Or you can open on right click on this and say open definition and see the what has been written. Since this procedure has been created straight away into your catalog objects, you will not be able to edit this. So if you want to edit, then what happens? If you can create a procedure in the content folder, you will have design time object as well as runtime object. So you'll be able to edit the procedure first. Okay. Now once procedure is created, I just want to call the procedure. So in ABAP, when you create a function, how do you call? You say call function so on. So same way here, for calling a procedure, you use a keyword call and the name of the procedure, and you got to specify the parameters if there is any. But as of now, there is no parameters required for my procedure. I'm just calling with just the parenthesis. Select this and say execute this. So I see the string getting printed hello world. This is a simple example just to print some string on the display. So this is about writing your SQL scripting. So we have to get into implementing complex logics like this. Yeah. Yeah. Next example. Focusing on value assignment was. So this example, I am focusing on making you understand about how do we write the assignment, how do we assign a value to a variable bus, how do we declare a variable, and how do we assign a value to this variable, and I'm just printing that value, that's it, nothing else. So again, I'm using the same keyword, say create procedure and name of the schema, and this is the name of the procedure as what? Unable to hear me? Okay, this is the name of the procedure, and then you have the parenthesis where you specify the parameters, and then you'll have as, and then begin and end. Within this begin and end, you start within this body, you start writing your logic. So if you look at this, in ABAP, you use a keyword called data to declare a variable, right? Here, we just say declare is a keyword to declare a variable. So we use this keyword always. Whenever you want to declare a variable, you say declare and name of the variable and the data types. See, if others are able to hear and if you're not able to hear, some problem from your side, can you just log out and try logging in? Yeah, let's see. So declare is a keyword. Just respond to their queries if there's something they can't. V underscore A is the name of the variable and int is the data type here. So declare is a keyword and name of the variable and the data type. This is how you go about declaring a variable. And then you want to assign some value. Normally, if it is ABAP, you just say variable v underscore a is equal to 10. So the value 10 is assigned to this variable, right? You just say v underscore a equal to 10. So the value 10 will be assigned to this variable v underscore a. But here you just have to use this colon equal to this. In scripting, SQL script, when you want to assign some value to a variable, you have to use this parameter colon equal to this. So v underscore a colon equal to and 10. So I'm assigning value to this variable v underscore a, and I just want to print the same value as result. So you look at this, select, instead of saying just v underscore a, you just select say colon v underscore a. Whenever you want to refer to the value of a variable, when you want to refer to the value of a variable, so if I just say v underscore a, it understands this as a string, as a name, so v underscore name. I want to say value of this v underscore a. So when you say colon v underscore a, it refers to the value of this variable, and I would like to project this value of the variable as what? As result. And then since I'm not reading anything from the table, I'm just using the keyword dummy here. Just select this and say activate. And then I just want to call this procedure. So how do you say? I can call in same tab, but for you not to get confused. So whenever I call this, it executes that logic, and then so I'm saying call assign. Since you're not passing any parameters, I'm just saying just the empty parenthesis and then execute. And then you get the value as output as result because of the alias name, and gives the value as 10. This is about printing, assigning a value and then outputting the result. Any doubts till here? Clear, right? Okay.
What procedure?
Sir, if you assign the variable, not the value, then what will be the output?
Which assign? Yeah.
The procedure, if you assign the variable, not the value, like we select colon v underscore a. So instead of colon v underscore a, if we assign v underscore a.
So then initially
in the
v underscore a will be blank, right? Then there's nothing getting assigned here.
Okay.
See, well, next example will come. We'll see. Yeah, we'll add different variables and assign that. Okay. Next example is about adding two numbers here. That's fine. Okay. So the next one again, it's just about adding two numbers. How do we add two numbers here? So again, the body is all same. I'm not done anything changes. So by using this keyword declare, I'm just declaring a variable called v underscore sum, where the data type of this is int. And I'm saying I'm assigning this, saying 10 plus 20. I'm just adding these two numbers. And the result of this, I'm assigning it to variable v underscore sum. So for assigning, I'm just saying colon equal to this. The value from the right operand will be assigned to value which is in the left operand. And then I just want to refer to the value of this variable, content of this variable. Variable lo unna value తీసుకోవాలి కాబట్టి colon variable name. Whenever you're trying to refer to the value of a variable lo unna value కావాలంటే colon variable name, and then the result I would like to project the alias name as sum underscore result. Just take this out and activate your procedure. I can just call this straight away. So I can just execute this statement call, which will call your procedure and gives the result as 30. Okay. So if you want to really understand this clearly line by line, so I would prefer doing this way always. So any programming always makes sense to debug this. Double click on this procedure and double click on every line. You have to insert breakpoint on every line where you would like to control this and debug it. Double click just to insert the breakpoints. Then get into this perspective called what? Debug. Okay. Then once you get into debug perspective, you have to create the debug configuration. Drop down this and say debug configurations and then select your procedure. Select the menu called procedure. What do you want to debug? Say create new. Just say configuration 009 something. And you want to debug a procedure which is in my catalog schemas. Browse through. It will show the schema what has been available. Procedures. Add numbers 01. Apply. Say debug. Now debugging starts. You see this green color indicating that, and you see an arrow mark indicating that this is at this line of control. Now let's and to execute every line. Sorry, there is nothing like F5 here. You only have F8, which will stop at next breakpoint. That's why I've inserted breakpoint at every line. Just say F8. Now look at this. Now it says I have a variable called v underscore sum. I've just declared. I've not done any assignment to it. That's why it says the value is what? Null. Okay. So when you don't assign any value to a variable, by default it is null. Now, after this execution of this, what this statement should do? It should add 10 plus 20 and the result 30 should be assigned to this parameter v underscore sum. Sorry, to variable v underscore sum. There is not a parameter variable. Now let me execute this statement. Now after this, you look at this variable v underscore sum and the value is assigned as what? 30. So with this statement, we are assigning the value called 30 after adding 10 and 20 and then assigning the value to this, and same thing will be printed out. That's it. So like this, you should be able to debug your procedure and understand the line by line code, what's happening at each statement. So now see, I would like to make this yeah.
This procedure is a reusable object, right, sir?
Yeah, you can use this procedure in any program, any other procedures you want. Yeah, that's what you mean, right?
Yes.
See,
So
I'm just showing you output as call, right? You can use this call statement in any other program wherever you want, in any other scripting. Yeah.
So in other schema, if you are creating other schema and that schema also it is usable, or we need to declare as a global procedure like that?
No, you can use it. Even if it is another schema, you can use it, and as long as you have the select access, you can always call that.
Okay, fine. Thank you, sir.
Sir, sir, I have one more question.
Yeah.
Do we have any other way than double clicking with all the rows one by one?
Yeah.
Instead
See,
of that,
to deliver this itself, SAP has undergone a lot of changes. So there's no F5 executing a line by line. So it's only option is you have to go over to inserting breakpoint every line. That's the only option.
So we have to click all the lines which we wanted to execute and see the results in double click.
Exactly.
Yeah, only problem that I am seeing here is if the script has more than 100 or 500
So to deliver this
rows.
Actually, in previous versions, the debugging was not so easy. Yeah.
Okay.
We had to create some wrapper procedures, then do all those. But now it is pretty much easy now. I think in the next levels they might improvise that option. But for now, this is the only option here.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Sir, if I want to capture the output of a procedure into another variable, if I create a variable and declare that variable equal to and call the procedure with the syntax,
We can do that.
so that will automatically.
I'll come to that. Slowly, I'll take.
Okay. Okay, thank you, sir.
So I've got around 70 examples, so I'll take you through all those. Don't worry. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Within this, see, whatever the procedure I've taught, If you have any doubts, let me know. Yeah. Okay. Then so you don't go with other new concept. If I'm not, if once I say I've finished my scripting stored procedures, then you can ask me, you have not touched this. Okay. Yeah, that's better. Let's not deviate from the topic. Within the example, if you've taught something, I've taught, and then you got some discussion, then raise it. Yeah? Then someone is pinging me saying, instead of call, can I use execute, EXEC? No. The statements execute or execute immediately is used for triggering dynamic SQL. For example, you will have some programmatically you would like to implement some logic, say, based on the requirement, dynamically you want to form some SQL statement and execute that. In that case, we use those keywords execute or execute immediately. But to call the procedure, you have to use a statement called call. Call is the only statement which can be leveraged when you want to call the procedure. Okay, clear? Okay.
So when do we use execute? Once again, please.
When you want to call up a dynamic SQL, for example, say you want to execute some select statement, say select star from table. So that is a fixed one, right? But let's say from which table you have to read, you don't know. Dynamically in the programming, you would be forming that SQL statement saying select star from, okay, and the name of the table will be replaced with the string. So dynamically I'll form a string which will contain that SQL statement and I want to execute that. Then I will say execute or execute immediately. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Next one. So again, I'm saying again what procedure, name of the procedure. Now here look at this. In this procedure, in the previous example, I've just added two numbers and then printing the value. But now I would like to make the dynamic. Instead of always adding up 10 plus 20, I would like to make it dynamic by using parameters. Like in above function model, how do we have import and export? Similar way, even when you're implementing stored procedure, it can have input and output parameters. Look at this. See, I'm using this key. I want two input parameters. Means what? When a procedure is being called, it has to take two input values. One is, I'm considering that as v underscore a, one is considered to be v underscore b. So both are input, right? So I'm saying what is this keyword? We use a keyword in for declaring input parameter. We use a keyword out, out for declaring output parameters. I can, suppose if I want to use a parameter both as input as well as output, I can use a keyword in out. In that case, the same parameter can be used both as an input parameter as well as output parameter also. Okay. But now I only need input parameter. So I'm saying in v underscore a of type integer. Again, I'm using the keyword in v underscore b of data type again as what? Integer. So I've declared two input parameters. Like this, you can have n number of input parameters, n number of output parameters if it is a stored procedure bus. Okay. As begin and end. Now within this, what I'm doing, I'm just declaring a variable called v underscore c of type int. Then I would like to refer to the value of variable v underscore a, and I would like to refer to the value of v underscore b, add these two, and then use an assignment operator and assign the value to v underscore c. Focus on this. The one who is calling the procedure would pass the value for a and b, and then I just want to refer to the value of a by referring this as colon variable name, and I would like to refer to the value of another variable as colon variable name, add these two, assign the result to this v underscore c. For assignment, I'm just using this colon equal. So it performs the operation on the right hand side first. Then the resulting value will be assigned to the left operand, which is in the left hand side, because of this assignment operator. Then I just want to print the value of v underscore c as what? Some result from dummy. So let's take this and execute this procedure and say, and how do I call this? If you look at this example, in this case, I'm trying to call a procedure which needs input parameters, right? So I need to pass them. So call, your name of the procedure, okay? And does your procedure need, if I don't pass anything, it says wrong arguments, see? If I just say execute this, it says wrong number of type of parameter, because my procedure is expecting to have v underscore a and v underscore b as an input parameter. Say 10 is my first value and 30. So what happens? Since I've not specified any names here, by default, the value 10 is assigned to this first parameter v underscore a, and the second value 30 is assigned to the second parameter v underscore b, and then it gives me the results out. So if I just call the procedure with these two values, so I get the result as 40. Similarly, if I would have called with this 10 and 70, then you would get the result as 80. So dynamically you can pass in the parameters, input parameters like this. So when I'm doing this, by default 10 is being assigned to A and 70 is being assigned to B. But since you're adding, you may not find difference. But say I would like to explicitly pass with the named parameters. So you can call this way. You can say call procedure. I would like to pass in 50 to A. Explicitly I want to specify the name. Then we use this equal to greater than symbol for assignment of the input parameters. So v underscore, I would like to call this procedure by assigning 50 to this v underscore a and 60 to this v underscore b. That's how you say. You get as 110. And when you're calling the procedure with the named parameters, by specifying the name of the parameters, you don't have to maintain the sequence. See, if you're not specifying the parameter names while calling, you have to it goes in the default sequence. But if you're calling the procedure with the named parameters, you don't have to maintain the sequence. I'm saying v underscore b, I'm giving it as 50, and v underscore a, I'm giving it as 90. So since I've got named parameters, I can pass the value in any sequence I want. It's not mandatory that you maintain the same sequence. But if you're not specifying the named parameters, you have to the values are specified in the same sequence as declared in the procedure bus. If you're calling the procedure with the named parameters, you don't have to maintain the sequence. You can call it any sequence you want. Okay. So this is about adding two numbers with input parameters. See, this is where you get confused. Colon, you say colon variable name when you want to refer to the value of the variable. A variable lo unna value ni teesukovalannappudu colon variable name. ఒక వేరియబుల్ వాల్యూ అసైన్ చేయాలన్నప్పుడు కోలన్ ఈక్వల్ టు colon variable name is to refer to the value of that variable or contents of that variable. Colon equal to will be the assignment variable. Okay. So when you want to debug a procedure which has got input parameters, will it be slightly different? Yes. Now look at this. If I get into this, I would say insert breakpoint, double click, double click, double click. Then I'll say debug. Instead of creating new configuration, I can just say debug configurations. I already have configuration 009, right? I'll just change the procedure name. That's it. So it needs input parameters, right? That's why you have tab input parameter. Here you have to specify the value. So 90, 710, 110. And then now you can say, how are you placing debug point? I'm just double click on it. Just double click on the procedure. It opens that procedure definition. And just on the gray row, just double click on each of the line where you want to have the breakpoints. Apply. Then debug. Now look at this. As soon as the debugging starts in, you see this v underscore a parameter is assigned with what? 90. V underscore b is assigned with parameter as 110. And then now v underscore c is null, not it being assigned anything. So if you add this statement, it will add both a and b and assigns the value 200 to this v underscore c. Let's see that. So now do you see this 200 being assigned, and the same thing gets printed out. So like this, you can basically debug your procedure with input parameters also. Now,
Sir.
yeah,
Hello.
yeah. Any doubts specific to the procedure you ask me? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, here you are declared variables 3 times, right? V underscore A int and V underscore B int and declare V underscore C is int. Instead of declaring all different places, can you declare at one place, declare V underscore A int like that?
No, 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 no. Each variable you have to declare with one declare statement. Nothing like say declare V underscore A comma B comma C comma as int. You can't say like that. Not possible.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. I have a basic question here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not able to get what exactly the procedure, how different it is with the tables.
Which one? Which one?
What exactly the procedure is? How different is it from tables?
See, table will physically, table is the data persistent object which will store your data physically. Procedure is a component through which you can implement some complex logics by using SQL scripting. Yeah. In table, you will actually store data bus. Stored procedure is a component where you basically implement your data intensive logic by using SQL scripting. Yeah. You want to do some data manipulation which is really complex. It is not straightforward select statement or something. Then you want to do a lot of looping or you want to do a lot of conditional statements, all this. Then you can implement that logic as a scripting and then call it. Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. I am unable to place those dots. See, simple. So you're trying now, huh? Okay. Double click on this procedure like this, and you get a gray line. Just double click. Yeah. That's it. Okay. Okay. Next, I would like to show you procedure with both input as well as output parameters. The next one, so I'm going to use output parameter also. Yeah, okay. Say create procedure, okay, and name of the procedure, and I'm going to specify the parameters within the parenthesis. So in this case, I've got two input and one output parameter. So I'm just saying it's indicating it's an input parameter, and the name of the variable is v underscore a, and the data type is int. Again, I would like to have one more input parameter as in v underscore b of type integer, and by using this keyword out, I'm declaring that as an output parameter. Output is something which is returned back, okay, and v underscore c of type int. So can we have multiple output parameters also? Yes. In case of a stored procedure, you can have n number of input, n number of output parameters, okay, as begin and end, and the logic is just simple. I just want to refer to the value of v underscore a, and I would like to refer to the value of v underscore b, and assign the resulted value to this v underscore c. I'm just using the assignment operator and assign it to v underscore c. And the value what is been assigned to v underscore c will be returned back from the procedure because it is been declared as a output parameter. So in this case, how do I call this procedure? Say call procedure name. Since you're not using named parameters, it has to be made in the same sequence. I want 10 to be assigned to A and 20 to be assigned to B, and I've got return parameters b underscore c. I represent with a question mark here, which could be any value. Yeah. Say colon, you got to get that some invalid name or function procedure is something different.
No, we have to create that first.
I haven't activated. Okay, okay.
No.
Okay, so you're going to get the result as 10 and 20 as 30. So you can also call this procedure with the named parameters where you specify the naming, right? V underscore A assigned with 10, V underscore B assigned with 20, collect V underscore A with question mark. So the value, resulted value will be collected into which variable? V underscore C. Yeah. So you get that as 30 again. And when you have named parameters, you can go with any sequence. You don't have to worry about sequence here. So first I'll say V underscore B as 20, V underscore C as question mark, then V underscore C as 10. So I'm not maintaining any sequence. So whenever you go about maintaining the named parameters, you don't have to maintain the sequence when you're calling the procedure person. You still get the out as 30. Okay. So like this, you can have a procedure with input as well as output parameters, and we can also have multiple output parameters also. I'll just change this instead of copying again. I'm just saying so 0, 1. So I want one variable which is giving me the result of a sum. I want one more variable which is giving me a result of an say subtraction or something. So I'll say so V underscore D assignment with what? Colon V underscore B minus, let's say, V underscore A. So I would like to refer to the value of B minus value of A is what I'm going to assign it to V underscore D. Let's activate this procedure with 0, 1. This is a new procedure 0, 1. I'll have two outputs, right? Comma and then put. Execute this. Now you get as one as 30 and you get other output as 10. So like this, you can also have procedure with multiple output parameters also.
Sir, what makes the difference in the earlier examples when we have declared a variable? For example, in the earlier examples, we have declared V underscore C within this begin and end block.
Yeah.
And here we are declaring it as out. So what makes the difference here?
The first thing is when you declare a variable within the begin block and end block, then that is local to the procedure.
Okay.
When I declare this as out, it means this variable is understood by your procedure and also the procedure which is calling this also. So then when you declare a variable here, this can be returned out. The variable, the value what you assign to this variable will be returned back to the procedure who is calling me. Yeah. Simply in ABAP function model, this is like an export. Out is like an export. In is like import. Okay. Yeah.
And when it comes to declare, even that is returning the value, isn't it?
Yeah, but as soon as even if I declare a variable here and the value is written, as soon as I come out of the procedure, the variable is not recognized by your procedure, other procedures again. The variable will be local. Yeah.
Okay.
Sir, in the previous examples, you used the select statement to get the output.
Yeah.
But in this example, you're using that, but you're still getting an output. How is that possible?
Yeah. In the previous example, I was printing the value within the body of the procedure. Here, the values what has been assigned to the output is been returned back to the statement who is calling the procedure. And the statement who is calling the procedure is printing me the value. Previously, my procedure was taking care about printing the value. But in this case, the one who is, when I call the procedure is resulting me the value back, and which is what getting printed in the result. Yeah. That difference.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So these output variables can be used in other procedures?
Yeah. So for example, I would like to implement another procedure which is actually calling this. Okay. So I can say create, say 9 cubics SQL dot call others something. I'll say as begin and end. So this statement I'm just calling it, right? So declare local underscore C local underscore D. Now, so after once this procedure is called, this will give me the value for V underscore C and V underscore D. I'll say local underscore C assign with V underscore C what has been written, content of this. Local underscore D assign with V underscore D. So if you see, the V underscore D and V underscore C as the output parameters been written, which I am assigning it to local variables. Now if I want to print these values from this procedure, I'll say select, but someone please mute yourself as value C, then local underscore D as value D, okay. If you look at this procedure, this is just calling other procedure and just collecting that result here into local variables of my procedure here, yeah. Invalid schema, man.
Parameters are missing, sir, in brackets.
I have this right parameter. Create procedure.
Declaration of parameters.
I think it didn't declare
The
local C
identifier
and
must be
local D.
declared. I said declare local underscore C.
Local C and local D.
V underscore B, V underscore C declare child as well.
So this V underscore C must be declared in this case. Because you're collecting values into that. So I don't think there is. Saying begin. Create procedure name parameters as begin and end. Then I'm just declaring variables.
So don't we need to declare V underscore A and V underscore B?
1 second. I'm just seeing. No. Local underscore C is what I was saying. It's saying identifier must be declared line 9.
Sir, a bracket should
V underscore A, V underscore. Yeah.
Sir, input parameter, output parameter declare child, sir. In and out petty. V underscore B, V underscore C.
అది దాంట్లో కదా మనకెందుకు వీలో నీడ్ ఎనీ డిక్లరేషన్స్.
Yeah, we can call this.
Let's not worry about collecting first, then just let me just call. First, let's take it about this. Let's just call this first. It says identifier must be declared. Identifier is here. After this, did I activate this? Which identifier am I? V underscore B. There's no point. Let me just. Because if you are declaring here, it doesn't make sense because we are just passing values. Declare so and so. As begin and end. I'm just saying call this procedure so and so. One second. This should be complete. Default schema name. It says identifier must be declared. Identifier is my variable. Schema name is already declared. V underscore C, V underscore B are the input parameters. So let me just declare. Let me collect that into a result. Okay, boss. See, I'm just passing the value for A and B. and my parameter is returning me C, right? And I need to collect that C into one variable. So I've declared a local variable as result, okay? And then I'm just collecting that into this parameter called result bus. That's it. That's already created. So I'll just say what? When I call this procedure, if this in turn calls the another one, yeah? Can I print trial? I need to print this. Select what? Result. Since I need to print something, let me just say 0, 1. And let me call this. So when I call this procedure, this in turn calls another procedure. This does not need anything. So this in turn calls another procedure with 10 and 20 and get me the result as 30. Okay, boss? So like this, by assigning the output parameter to a variable, you can collect that value to this local variable and then just printing that local variable. Is it fine now? This is what you wanted, right? How do you call the procedure?
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Thank you.
So next one. So we can have multiple output parameters also, you've seen. Now next, I would like to touch on the example of reading database now. Okay. So I'm just creating a table as my table 1 with employee ID and employee name as 2 columns. Just select this and say execute. And then I'm just inserting some 8 records into this table. These are the names and IDs here. I just want to build a simple procedure which will actually read data from this table and give me the result of this. So I'm just saying create procedure and some name of the procedure. And as begin and end, I can just write normal SQL statements into the procedure like this. I'm saying select star from this table. So it's just going to read all the columns, all the rows from the table and then give me the result. You select this and print. And when you call this procedure here, this will basically print all the result of the table with both the columns, employee ID and employee name. Like this, we can use the SQL statements into your procedures and have the logic executed also. Okay, boss. Say I would like to go with where class. You can also do that. Say I would say 0, 1. Then say where EMPID. Yeah. Say less than or equal to 3. That's my procedure. Okay. So when I call this procedure, this will just print me all of them which are less than 3. Less than or equal to 3. Like this, you can also have any kind of select statement can be executed here. Okay. Now let's say I want to make this dynamic. It's not 3. I would like to pass in the parameter. So what I can do, I can just take an input parameter in EMP, say variable EMPID, okay, which is int. So in the select statement, instead of using this fixed value, I will refer to value of this variable v underscore EMPID. So when you say instead of 3, I'm just replacing the 3 with what? With the input parameter. So 2. So when I call the procedure with value as 3, it just prints me all with less than or equal to 3. But if I call the procedure with 5, it just prints the 5 and less than or equal to 5. Okay, so like this we can also make the select statement dynamic by using that input parameters also. Yeah. Okay. Now what I would like to do is I would like to what are the data I'm using this as a select. So whenever you execute a select statement, it is going to give me some result set. It's going to give me some output, some set of rows. I would like to collect that set of rows into temporary table and then print the values from the temporary table, local temporary table. Yeah. So in this case, what I can do is I can just say some statement, same thing. I'll just say itab is equal to, that's it. Okay. There's no colon equal to, I just say itab is equal to the select statement. So it executes this select statement and the result set will be collected to this itab. And from itab, I just want to print this select star from colon itab. I won't refer to the content of itab. Yeah. So let me just call this with 03. Like, see, did I do any declaration of itab here? No, right? Because since this temporary table itab is used only within the body of the procedure, you don't need any declaration. So, yeah. So get 5. Now, when
it was variables, we were declaring those.
Hello? Yeah, what is it?
As you said that this internal table is local, means we need not declare that structure.
Exactly.
But when it was the case of variable, we were declaring it.
Yeah, exactly. Because when it comes to table, you cannot know what is the result set, right? This could sometimes it could be select column 1, so it could be select column 5. So if you just say itab is based on the result set being assigned explicitly, the declaration is done automatically. You don't need any explicit declaration. When the result set is being assigned to the temporary table, the definition will be explicitly implicitly declared automatically. You don't need any explicit declaration.
Okay. But when it comes to a particular variable, we need to declare it.
Exactly.
Be it local, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Because result set is like generalized, but when it comes to variable, it is specific to some data types. That's all.
Yes. Okay.
Now, next case, I would like to return this table. I don't want to print the table here. I would like to collect the result set and return the table out. Okay. So I'm passing input. I want to return out, right? Out. What is that I want? Itab. Since it is going to be an output, it is a table type, but we are outputting it. So I need to declare it like out itab with what? With what? Because I'm going to expect this result set to be same as my which table? This table, right? So I'll say table. I want this temporary table itab same as my table 1. It is same like in ABAP you say data itab like standard table of your database table name, same like this. I'm saying out. I want a itab temporary table which is same with the same definition of what? Database table my table 1 bus. My table 1 is a normal database table. I'm saying declare my temporary table itab same as my database table bus. Okay. So I'm saying select star and assign. So what are the structure we have? The result set is going to be same. It's going to assign the value now. Now just select this and say execute. Now I'm calling this procedure now. When I call 5 is assigned to employee ID and 5 will be placed into the select class, or where class of the select statement, and the result of this will be assigned to temporary itab. Since itab has got declaration of same like table, that will be returned out to us. So I need to have one more parameter 5 comma then question mark, or I can say v underscore emp id and I tab. So 1, 2, 3.
Sir, when this, oh, sorry.
Yeah, tell me.
I was saying that when this internal table comes into the local block, that is in the begin and end block, we need not declare it. It will take by default the structure of the select.
Exactly.
But when it comes to returning it and we are taking it as globally, in that case, we need to declare it.
Exactly.
Okay.
If you're using this temporary table output to be returned about as an output parameter, it needs an explicit declaration. If you're using this temporary table only within that body of the procedure, that does not need any explicit declaration.
Okay.
Yeah. Now let's say I have one more requirement now. Here I'm reading all the columns, right? I don't want all columns. I just want to read only employee name from the table. So what is this EMP name, right? Very, very important. So my select statement is going to just read only EMP name, not star. So what should be my structure of this I tab now?
Only EMP name.
So my I tab should have only EMP name. So if I say I tab if I say out I tab similar to my table, so I tab will get 2 columns. But as per my requirement, I want I tab only with 1 column. Yeah. So in that case, how do you declare it? Okay. Let me see what is EMP name with varchar n varchar 40. Okay. So in this case, what you do, use something called table types. So I'll just say create table, say a new table, table types, EMP names. Here, instead of using row store, column store, then there's option. Look at this here. Table. See, when I say row store or column store, they store database. Table type will be used only for like a structure for declaring, only for declarations. It does not store any data physically. Table type will be used only for declarations. They do not store any data physically into it. Yeah. So I'll say EMP name. Spelling EMP name. Yeah. And we said I want it as n varchar 40. Activate. So now, what are the table type you have declared? You will see that in the table types here. Within the procedures folder, you see a subfolder called table types. You see this table type. Now, what I'll use a table type for declaration. So I'll say out I tab similar to this types, where the types, because of this types contains only EMP name, then your I tab is declared with only 1 column EMP name. So EMP name can be filled in directly. If I just say 5, now if I call that, your I tab will start giving you, I think I need to call the procedure 5. So it gives me only EMP names here. Okay. And next option, let's say I create I created types. So I want to create one. Right click on the table, you say new table. So type names. Next example, look at this. Here in this case, I've just put it as names. I don't have employee names. And so 40. And then active. If you look at this table type, what is the column of names here? Names, okay. Now look at this. Let's say next example. I am declaring this temporary table now. I am declaring this I tab similar to a new types, which is where ty names. So now I've declared my I tab with only with the table types where single column has got names. Okay. Now if you look at the select here, EMP name, it is going to read this EMP name and it's going to insert the column as EMP name. But it says, now look at this, Your iTab structure does not match to your result set. Return type mismatch here. Attribute name names different from attribute with name EMP name. So your result set is giving an attribute called EMP name, but my iTab is expecting an attribute called attribute with name as names. In this case, I use alias, select EMP name as names. That's it. So you'll replace this attribute EMP name as names, and since the attribute names here and the iTab name is same, it's able to insert the value straight. Now it is fine. So I'll say 0. Like in ABAP, you write say into corresponding fields, right? So here we don't have that into corresponding fields. We just say as here. Yeah. So you just get this result, but the column, this is iTab, but where the column name of iTab is what? Names. So did you understand this was about temporary table?
Sir, when we are creating these table types, will it always be under the procedures package?
Yeah. All the table types what you create, it will be under the same folder. Procedure, table types, you will find them here. Yeah. So if you're not returning this, let's say you can use temporary tables within the procedures. Okay, it could be any name, not only item, any name you have. If you're not returning the table and if you're using within the body of the procedure, it does not need any explicit declaration. Okay. But suppose you have a temporary table, you would like to return this table out as an output parameter, then it needs temp table exported, temp table to be exported or as output parameter. It needs explicit declarations, and temp table can be declared using DB table or using types, using table types. So because if you want the temporary table similar to the columns in database table, I can declare it same as my database table, saying like out iTab your database table name. Suppose if the columns in the database table and the output table, temporary table, you're expecting to be different, you create your own types. Create your types, okay. Then say out iTab as what table type. So did you understand this part of it? Any issues? And one more thing, if column names are different from result set and the temp table definitions or temp table structure or temp table columns, then use what as an alias concept, like in similar to into corresponding fields in ABAP. So I think, did you understand this logic? I think this is where you got to go to play with the tables. Any confusion, boss? No doubts, right? If you have any doubts, you can. I won't stop it here for today. If any doubts, you can raise it now. So it will be a doubt session. If you want, if you have any doubts, you can raise it now. If there's nothing, we can stop it for today. Is there any optional input and output variables in procedures? See, by default, they are optional. The only thing is the structures are mandatory. For example, if I look at this add numbers, I have add numbers with input. It is expected 2 inputs, right? But only thing is, when I'm calling this, I can go without passing value also. Yeah. See, if it is an input, it is must. You pass the syntax must match with the operand sequence. You have to pass the values. There's nothing like optional or mandatory. If it is declared as an input parameter, you have to pass value for that parameter. At least the 0. Yeah. Because it expects the call in the same, yeah. Scalar type is not all. Scalar means this only, right? When you see a variable of type integer, varchar, these are scalar types. And these are, when you say I tab, these are like temporary table type. Or scalar means what? Normal variables of data type, scalar or integer, varchar, those are called as scalar. String means you can say varchar of, char of, anything can also be used. Yeah, no, nothing wrong. See, I'm just first making it simple. I've used int. Next, we'll make it complex, but you can use any data types. Not only int, you can have varchar. All the data types are supported. Yeah. So apart from normal variable, scalar variable, you can also have table type variables. Also, you can have temporary tables which has been written out. So you understood, right? Sir? That was not something great. It was simple. Okay. Yeah.
Sir, can we do multiple parameters with the same procedure names, just like a polymorphism concept?
No, I didn't get you. Multiple?
I mean, see, here we are using v employed as int, out as itab.
Yeah.
So with the same procedure name, inputting 2 values and output as 1 variable. Same procedure name with different options of parameters.
No.
Function calls.
Because once the procedure is created in a schema, you cannot create a procedure with the same name in that schema again. Not possible. You have a different schema possible, but in the same schema not possible. Okay?
Just like in functions, we have different variables, right? Single variable, multiple variable, int, float, for addition purpose, for example.
Yeah, you can basically you can use all those data types. Okay, those are data types. You're asking me, can I have a procedure A once declared with parameters with 2 parameters, and can I have procedure A once declared with 3 parameters? Not possible. That's what I'm saying. Once you create a procedure A with 2 parameters, if you go creating a procedure with the same name, it says the procedure name is already available. So you can't create a procedure with the same name again.
Acha. Okay, usually in SQL we have that option, right?
Yeah. Can we pass table name as parameter? Yes. Can we pass a table name as a parameter? Yes, you can pass table name as input parameter also. You're saying you want to pass the table name as input parameter, can I do that? Yes. Do we need to use from dummy statement while printing? Generally, we don't print the values from the procedure. For now, just evaluating the results, I'm just printing it. Generally, in the scenario, we don't print this. This is not an user executable program. This will be triggered as a background job for a reporting, or this will be triggered from a ABAP program as a background job. So just for to evaluate the results, we're saying select from dummy. Yeah. Videos, I think yesterday they should have sent, and if not today, you'll be receiving along with this today's video, all the 4 videos. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
So initially for subtraction and addition, you have declared 4 variables, right? VA, VB, and VD and VC, right?
So what is it? 4 variables? No.
4 variables are added as int for doing the operation of VA, VC is equal to VA plus VB.
2 output parameters, yes. Yeah.
So instead of to declare VA as input and output, instead of declaring VD and VC, can you use VA as input and output?
Yes.
VA equal to VA plus VB?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
Sir, I mean function overloading concept you have here.
Okay, let's finish with this. 9 cubics SQL. And, in-out example. You can just say in-out, okay, V underscore A, and something like say int. Now it's a V underscore A assigned with content of V underscore A plus 10. So whatever the value passed in, it increments by 10 and gives you back. So I will say call. Yeah. It's V underscore A. We'll say some 12. So I'll say parameters something like 12 and then it. So when I pass in 12, it just takes in as increments it by 10 and gives you 22. So I'm using V underscore A both as input as well as output. This is what you're expecting, right? And wait, there is another question here. One second. Create procedure something. Nine cubics SQL. So in S varchar, okay, T varchar 20 as begin, declare itab char 35, itab is equal to colon S. You wanted a concatenate, right? You can use pipe symbol instead of doing that. Okay, and select star from itab. This is not a table. Table will, when you want refer this, itab could be any name of the variable. I don't mind, but when you say table, it should written multiple rows. But if you look at this, is just returning a normal variable, normal values, scalar variables. Name itab vadukochu tappaledu gaani, but this is not. It cannot be coming. It cannot come into from class of it. Select itab as result from term, because in this case itab is just like a variable name, identifier name that could be normal variable also. So this is like normal scalar variables. You're just concatenating both scalar variables and giving the result variable. So this becomes a normal scalar variable. You're saying char 35. So this cannot be referred as a table. So select the content of itab as result from term. Itab you can use any name, but doesn't mean correct syntax here or something. Why? Call, so you're concatenating both and just giving this. So you're saying varchar 1. See, now he is using procedure with varchar data types now possible. Yeah? Cubics. So you'll get this cubex dot pratap. So what was the next question? Yes, instead of dummy, use S key, S hyphen schema T table. What is T table? No, you cannot use no because see why am I using dummy? Because I want select statement, but I'm not reading from any of the table. That's where I use dummy. Yeah. Any other question, boss? Next question. Another 5 minutes. You have any question? You can just ping. So we're through. Okay. Now we'll stop it here and we'll meet tomorrow again. That's fine. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Hello, sir. Sir, before class start, you told that BODS HANA combination, either BW HANA combination is good in market. What about BO HANA combination in market?
That's also good. That's also good. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir? Yeah. Yeah, tell me. Yeah.
Sir, for debugging without double equal every
no, without breakpoint you cannot stop the line. No.
Hello.
Without breakpoint you can't stop. You can't debug. Yeah.
Program at a time.
I don't know. I don't think there is an option to set a breakpoint for every line at a time. No.